And good afternoon. This is Ira Weissman with Nonprofit Chat. And today we have Debbie Savigliano.
Close enough.
Close. You want to correctly pronounce it for me?
Savigliano.
Savigliano. And Nick McCormick from Biancas Kids. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Debbie, what is Biancas Kids?
Biancas Kids is a 501c3 nonprofit. It's a children's nonprofit that I established in memory of my niece Bianca. Bianca was 21 years old when she was walking to work in August of 2010, and she was a pedestrian, killed instantly in a car accident.
Okay.
It was Bianca's passion for children that inspired me to establish the nonprofit.
All right. And you're the executive director of it?
Yes.
And Nick, you're a board member?
I am, yes.
And you want to give us a little of your background?
Sure. I got involved. I was a student at the Wharton School at University of Pennsylvania, where Biancas Kids actually takes on teams to help out with different projects. So the first year they were there recruiting a team to help out with one of their projects, I was actually put on that team. This was before they were even an official nonprofit. So kind of since the birth of Biancas Kids, I've seen it grow, and I hopped on board shortly after graduation. So.
Okay. So what is Biancas Kids?
So what we do is that we focus on granting wishes and providing basic needs to children who are struggling, either children in the foster care system and or children that are struggling from mental, physical, emotional, or financial issues. And we get those wishes through our website at biancaskids.org. And our goal is to basically help as many children as we possibly can in Bianca's memory. And in 4 short years, I'm proud to say that 12,000 children from New Jersey and around the United States have benefited from our organization in one way or another.
Okay, and you just answered my next question. So it's not exclusive to New Jersey, it's throughout the United States.
Yes, it's primarily in New Jersey. We're based out of South Jersey. A lot of our work is in New Jersey because we have a lot of supporters in New Jersey, and we like to pay them back by granting wishes in our home state. But we have evolved to reach out into other states across the U.S.
Now, you mentioned youth in foster care and in other difficulties. Can you give us some examples?
Sure. Well, very early on, we started working with foster children by providing them with Christmas gifts. That was the first thing we did. That was the same year that I lost my niece. And the reason I chose that demographic of children is because Bianca she aspired to not only work with children, which she already did at the time of her passing, but to continue to work with children focusing on kids with separation anxiety.
Okay, now what is separation anxiety?
Separation anxiety is when a child is suffering because they're separated from somebody they love, usually, their parent. And that came to Bianca through a personal experience. She was separated from her mother for a long time. She suffered as a result of that separation. And as a result, she sort of keyed in on kids like that. So for instance, at the time of her passing, she worked at a daycare center. When a child would cry because they longed for their mom or their dad, Bianca would comfort and soothe them. And so we felt there weren't a bunch of children that suffered separation anxiety more than foster children. So we zoned in on them the first year, and we provided them with Christmas gifts of their choice, prom dresses, toiletries, backpacks, school supplies, dorm kits, scholarships, everything you could possibly think of. Being new to not only the nonprofit world, but to the needs of children, I realized very quickly that there are a lot of kids that are out there that, who may be living at or below poverty level that need these same things as well. And so we branched out and said, you know what, how we're going to look at this is that any child in need will be considered one of Bianca's kids.
Okay.
And we will help them regardless of what the need is.
And you said you've granted something on the order of 12,000 wishes already?
Well, we haven't granted 12,000 wishes, but we've provided either Christmas gifts, basic needs, prom dresses. Children have benefited one way or another from us. I can't even count how many wishes we've granted.
Yeah.
That's sort of a whole other thing that we do and what we're known for. And those wishes range from, anything from providing a child a piece of medical equipment that they need, sending a child to an Eagles game because they could never afford to buy the tickets themselves, paying for a child to go to dancing school or to play organized football. We'll go down to Children's Hospital in the summer, and we'll do a day of joy for 300 kids that are in the hospital, and plan like a whole day of fun and food and characters and stuff. So wishes can be anything.
Okay.
You know.
And it's not, as you say, it's any child in need. It's not that they have a fatal disease or anything like that, like some of the other agencies that
Exactly.
grant wishes.
Right.
Yeah, we totally believe that, although those agencies, we aspire to be like some of them and be as successful someday.
Yeah.
They do great work, but we felt we didn't want to wait until a child was dying to grant their wish. We wanted to sort of provide them a little hope and a little push and a little helping hand when they needed it.
I know in going through your website, you talk about some of the wishes you granted. For example, you created a park bench for somebody who had lost a friend because that was a special place for them.
Yes,
Right.
that's a great example.
Yeah.
Right, which you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so I mean, with Autumn.
Not
oh,
Autumn,
no, this
that
is
was
not
the park
Autumn.
bench.
I'm
We
sorry.
did a park.
We did a
The
park
yeah.
and a park bench.
Right. So
Well,
for
let's talk about both
We're
of
gonna
them.
do both? Okay.
Yeah, so, well, we got heavily involved in Autumn's story, who was a girl who was unfortunately killed in, was it 2012 now. So we did a lot of outreach to...
That was down in the Sewell area, I think?
At
Or
Clayton.
Clayton.
Yes, in the Clayton area. Yeah, so we did a lot of outreach to her friends and family. Our most recent, we've actually been ongoing with them. Our most recent wish that we granted was for her best friend, who they used to ride BMX together, and he hadn't been on his bike in a very long time since Autumn had passed away, and we just granted him the wish of a completely new BMX bike to kind of get him back and going. So that's an example of a case where he's not fatally ill, thank God, but he definitely is in need of just support and love from people around him.
Okay. And so you're talking about emotional support.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Let me touch on the park bench one, because I think that's a great, it's sort
Okay.
of an odd wish that comes in, but this gives you an idea of how diversified these wishes can be. We receive a wish from a mom of a young girl who had lost a 14-year-old friend who was also hit by a car and killed, like Bianca was. Her daughter had been struggling with depression and post-traumatic stress disorder for a year, and the child really wanted a place to go to remember her friend that wouldn't be as depressing and as morbid as the cemetery was. She found it very difficult. She wanted to go see her friend, but then it was very difficult for her to be there. It reminded her of all the bad things that had happened that put her friend there. So she wanted to memorialize her friend, and we decided that the best way to do that would be to create a park bench for this young girl and to create a plaque on it that would memorialize her friend the way she knew her. We used her sort of little funny sweet name she used to call her friend, and that's what we put on the plaque, and we placed it in a park that meant something to both girls because they used to frequent it when they were young, and we planted trees around it, and this became a place for this young lady to go and remember her friend in happier times, and gave her an alternate place to do that.
That's great. And sometimes that's all they need to just feel like they stay in contact with the
Absolutely.
individual. Now, Biancas Kids, it's an all-volunteer organization, isn't it?
It is.
You're on the board.
I'm on the board, yes, but I also work full-time, as does Debbie. All of the board members do.
Okay. And just tell us about the makeup of Biancas Kids.
The makeup of Biancas Kids is that the truth is this foundation started with a text. I was struggling through an immense amount of grief and guilt when I lost my niece, and I knew that I needed to direct that energy that was fueling my grief into something positive, or I was never going to get out of this abyss that I was in. I knew that she loved kids. I decided that I would continue on. I would allow her to sort of reach her goal in life through me. I figured her dream didn't have to die because she did. I sent a text out to a few friends and family, and I said, here's my idea. I want to establish a foundation. I want to buy gifts for children in our area in foster care. Would you be interested in helping? luckily I had these few 4 or 5 women that said, "Yeah, we love the idea, let's do it." Today they sit on the board of directors of one of the fastest growing nonprofits in South Jersey, and they're all full-time working women, and some men as well, but primarily we're made up of women, and everybody works a full-time job, and somehow through every blessing on earth we've been able to continue working on a volunteer basis for the past 4 years. We want to do that as long as we possibly can. It becomes increasingly more difficult. It's
I'm very familiar with that one.
Oh my gosh, it is not easy, let me tell you. You're running a company and you're working full time and you have children, but it's just proof positive that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
And that's a great note. We need to stop for a commercial break, and we'll be back in 2 minutes to talk about Biancas Kids and some more of the things that you're doing and how people can help you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Karonda Jones. I'm the owner of Kitty Academy of Mount Laurel, New Jersey. The 4 pillars of life essentials are developmentally appropriate curriculum, technology, health and fitness, and character education.
They give great attention to each child, and my kids are happy at the end of the day. Academically, exposing them to the state curriculum early. He's getting the exposure with the alphabet and the numbers and reading and writing, so I'm really confident in him going to the next level.
This year they did little pictures with the kids, and they made like popsicle sticks and made their own frames, and it had a little picture. They were holding a picture that said, "I love you, Daddy," and literally that morning I melted. Everybody's friends here. It's not like he comes home every day crying about the bully. It's like everyone's buddies.
The worst part about Kitty Academy is trying to get my kids to come home at the end of the day. They have so much fun.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based. For more information, call People Inc. Senior Living at 817-9090.
Looking for a cooking oil with a light flavor and reduced absorption so food preserves its natural flavor? One with a high smoke point for stir-frying, sautéing, grilling, and baking? Then choose all-natural Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil, imported from France. Grapes have been a key ingredient of the healthy Mediterranean diet for years. Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is the chef's choice for high-heat cooking, grilling, stir-frying, sautéing, or even deep frying. And Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil is great for baking too, because its delicate taste does not overwhelm the flavor of cakes, cookies, and other favorite recipes. A key traditional ingredient of the Mediterranean, grapeseed oil is a rich source of vitamin E antioxidant and naturally gluten-free. Buy imported Pompeian 100% grapeseed oil today and find great recipes at Pompeian.com.
Wait, don't let this happen to you. At Jan Fence, we're family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing a wide choice of fencing. Why wait online at the big box store? Just call Jan Fence. Ask about our Easy Fence to Go products by Active Yards, the first truly do-it-yourself fence product.
At Jan Fence, we always do what we say. Come see us today.
Step into an extraordinary world that will excite your senses. Experience our delectable Mughlai cuisine and the magic of tandoori savoir-faire. Let our international award-winning team delight you with a taste of heaven. Enjoy our mouth-watering flavors and our unique flair for excellence. Savor the elegance of fine dining and catering. Shazam Restaurant. Indulge your taste buds.
Kick off your new year at the Croc Center, helping families achieve their full potential with fitness facilities, indoor competition and play pools, performing arts theater, educational programs, and fun for all ages, including seniors and teens on our 24-acre campus in the Kramer Hill section of Camden. Book now for birthday parties and corporate events. Monthly memberships start at $25 for a household of 4. The Ray and Joan Kroc Core Community Center in Camden, where potential meets opportunity.
And we're back. This is Ira Weissman with Nonprofit Chat, and we're talking with the folks from Biancas Kids today. And when we took our break, we were hearing about some of the things they did, and you just received an award, didn't you?
We did. We award for Great Nonprofit 2014 from greatnonprofits.org, which was quite an honor. I mean, you know, I started this foundation for personal reasons, and my hope was that we would reach a lot of children, but I never in a million years thought that we would grow so exponentially and reach the amount of children that we've reached and provide the joy that we have. And it's been an incredible experience, and I'm so appreciative.
That's great. And how do you give these gifts? Where do they come from when you get a request? Can you give us a little idea of what goes into being able to grant some of the wishes? I know we talked about the bench, the park. I saw that you've given a tricycle to a young man, and the list just goes on and on.
Like sports meet and greet with the
ton of
Eagles.
support.
Go ahead, you tell him how
Yeah.
Nick just actually granted his first wish,
Yeah.
getting to end last week.
Yeah, so it varies. There are some families and some wishes we grant that, we'll just need to shell out money, and the bottom line is that we're going to be purchasing something for them, and in that case we will go to some of our supporters who might have connections, and if someone wants an iPad, well, maybe we could find someone who has connections with a store who sells the iPads and get them for cheaper. But if need be, and we think the wish is really meaningful, we will have to pay for it. So all of that money comes from our supporters, and we have so many supporters who are just so willing to give up their time and money, purely because none of us are working for profit. All the money, every cent goes to a child. So that's great. And then we have a ton of advocates and supporters throughout South Jersey and North Jersey who will provide free services, whether it be a dancing school that is more than willing to have a child come and dance there for a year for free, or a gymnastics place, or an auto body shop that will do free repairs. So the wish I worked on last week, we had leveraged a couple of sponsors to get a 12-month boxing class for one of the children, and a full car repair for the other child.
That's great. And it's not always just the child. It's if the family has children and the family is in need, you've stepped in also, haven't you?
Yes. We're a children's-based organization, so basically all we need to know is that a child is going to benefit from it. So whether it's a gift to a family or one particular child, as long as it's a child between the ages of 0 and 18 that's going to benefit from our work, our donation, our service, then we've done our job. And Biancas Kids, what I wanted to really let you know, Ira, is that we're unique in a way that we don't get any funding. At least we haven't to date. So we're raising our donation dollars $1 at a time through private donations. But what makes us really unique is that we provide our supporters a transparency like no other. Through our Facebook page, most of the people that are in our demographic are on Facebook. Luckily, we have over 10,000 followers on Facebook, and what we do is we feel that if people are going to trust us with their hard-earned money, we want to provide them the transparency to see where their donation dollars are going, and so we post everything that we do on Facebook. We take our supporters through the wish granting process. Here's a wish that you've granted, thank you for donating to it. Here's the child's face at the end after he receives it, or here's a shipment of diapers or toiletries that we're sending over to a local DIFAS office, thank you for contributing towards that. We have donations that are made, in-kind donations where people will donate Christmas gifts to our kids, or like I said, diapers and toiletries. We'll do a diaper drive. So we allow people to not only see where their donations are going, but on whatever level, at whatever economic status you are, you can help somebody else. We provide that. If you don't want to donate money, how about donating a used prom dress that a foster child would treasure? How about donating shopping for a little boy for Christmas, or donating an Easter basket if you don't want to donate money? And those things are small. How about donating a gift card that we can give to a child to have a free lunch at McDonald's? I mean, we make it easy for people. I often say that, in this life, everybody's provided an opportunity to become someone's hero. And we believe that we make it easy for people to take advantage of their opportunities.
Can you take us through the process of somebody asking for a gift for someone, for a young child? So what happens?
Okay, so I'll receive an email, and actually Nick works with me in that aspect. We'll both sort of go through our emails. We get, a lot of wishes. We read through
all day.
And we read through every one of them. I often say too, I wish the donations came in as frequently as the wishes do. But excuse me, we will read through every wish that comes in, and we will try to hit sort of every kind of child. We'll try to make sure that we're granting wishes for the child that's struggling financially and wants to experience something, or we want to make sure we hit children with cerebral palsy. We want to make sure that we're hitting kids that are struggling with cancer. We want everything. So we'll go through the wishes. Obviously 4 years later you can kind of sift through what's a real wish and what isn't. I also have a legal background. I've been
okay, help me out here.
Sure.
I can kind of guess, but just give us an idea of what you mean.
We'll get wishes via email that are pretty well written and pretty lengthy, and then it'll be signed, the 4-year-old daughter. And so that that's an example where we might have to pass on that.
Right. And we don't pass on many for that reason, thank
Thankfully.
goodness. But there are, or we need a trip to Italy for 17 people. I mean, it's not what we're aiming for here. So when a wish comes in, I or Nick will narrow it down and say, okay, this is one that we like. Either we have a vendor that's offering us something that we can give this child and make this wish happen very easily, or we're willing to spend the money for whatever reason. Once I have a wish that I want the board to consider, we'll forward it to the rest of the board members, and we'll get their opinion. What do you think? You guys like it? And once we have a majority vote, and we've never argued over a wish.
I don't think not one yet.
No.
I know I saw one unusual one where one of the kids had outgrown their love of Mickey Mouse and was looking to go to the superhero route.
Yes, he was a precious little boy. If I remember correctly, he was, I believe he was mentally challenged, and he needed some things that would help. He wanted to get out of his old, and wanted to move into his superhero room. He was getting bigger, and he liked, light up things and things that would sort of appeal to his senses and stuff. And so we granted that wish, a precious little boy, and we surrounded him with everything that he loved. If he laid on his sheets and he covered himself, and he laid his head on his Superman pillows, and we had Superman on the ceiling and around the walls, and we had some music playing for him to stimulate him as well. And they were out of sick here. I think they were California or Texas, but yeah, they were across the country, and we were able to just ship everything, to mom, and said, here you go, make his room over. And then the great part is when they do, and they send us pictures of it.
And that's how we get paid.
yeah, that's our pay, exactly.
It's so fulfilling.
Yeah, I know I work with another agency, and we talk about inches of smiles as payment.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Absolutely.
So once a request comes in, once it's reviewed by the board, that's when you step in and grant the wish, and it could be all over the place, as you said, from the Eagles to, we talked about park bench, to this example. Can you tell us one of the most unusual requests you've had?
That's an interesting question. No one's ever asked me that. Unusual.
That we did grant?
That you did grant. Obviously not the 17 people to Italy.
Right.
Not unusual, but maybe unconventional was the one that we just granted last night, which was for a couple of young boys that witnessed a friend's death. And
yes, that was very young.
The wish was for therapy. I mean, there's a lot of families out there that can't, either don't have health care or can't afford counseling for their children. These little boys are struggling emotionally, and they needed the help of a psychologist, and we made that happen for them. So there's not too many weird things, it's like iPad for a child with CP to help him communicate with his family, or an iPod for a child that's in chemo treatment and to keep him occupied, or a park. I mean, the Autumn Pasquale Memorial Park was a wish that we granted when we had the park renamed in her memory, and that was really a gift to not only her father and her siblings, but to the community of Clayton.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, because there's a lot of trauma associated with that for the
Very
whole
much so.
community. And just gives them a place to heal.
Exactly. And they were so grateful. That was one of my favorites.
Well, we're coming down to the end of the show, believe it or not.
Wow, that's
So
fast.
it does go fast. How does somebody reach out to you, both if they'd like to have you help them or to donate?
Well, they would go to our website at www.biancaskids.org, and through the contact us section, anybody or any corporation that would want to help could send us an email and let us know how they would like to help us. They can make donations on the website at biancaskids.org, and they can also send their wishes in for any child in need.
Okay, I want to step back for a second. Can you give us your website again?
Sure, it's www.biancaskids.org.
Do you have a list of needs on your website?
We do not.
Okay. So it's just
Maybe we should. Nick?
Well,
we need to work on needs on our
I could
website.
add it.
Okay.
Well, we need everything.
Yeah, we do.
Let me just we'll blanket it, right?
Yeah.
Is there any particular needs you have right now?
Right now we're working on collecting Easter baskets, which if people go to our Facebook page, they can see where they can have Easter baskets delivered. We are always in need of diapers. Our foster children, diapers are a hot commodity. I don't know if you're aware of that, but low.
No, I wasn't.
It's they're super expensive, and we can always for our foster and needy children use diapers.
And you also just published a book, correct?
I did.
And you want to tell us a little bit about that, knowing that we only have a minute or two more?
Sure. My book it's an ebook. It's available on Amazon. It's called From Grief to Gratitude, The Making of Biancas Kids. And I wrote it. I made it short for a reason, because I'm shooting to sort of, my demographic of book readers would be people that are struggling with grief. And the message is simple. It's for sure a tragedy to triumph story, and it's my story, and it's simply to let people know that there is healing for you in helping others. As debilitating as that grief can seem, there is something that can help you out of it, and that is by reaching your hand to someone in need. It can help you out of those stages of grief that can be lingering for years. And hopefully we'll get some book sales, because 100% of the proceeds from the book go to Biancas Kids as well.
So every penny goes to a child, basically.
And that's great. One last time, the address or your website?
www.biancaskids.org.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. This is Ira Weissman. If you need help with your strategic planning, putting policies and procedures in place, succession planning, or putting measures in place to show your funders that you truly are accomplishing what you said you are, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at my website, which is www.idea-innovations.com. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Goodbye.